What's up, selectors? It's Select Screen here. Man, tonight is going to be super dope, man. We are going to be doing our spoiler review of Kraven the Hunter, and we're going to give a final ranking, yes, final, of Sony's SpiderVerse. Before we get started, I want you to join me as I dive into every part of the SpiderVerse movie ranking thing. We're going to rank them from worst to best, but here's the catch. I'm going to be sharing some major spoilers along the way, and I want to know what your top really 20, if you really count all of them, are. So let me know what those are in the comments. All right. It's time to
choose your destiny.
Make sure to like, share, sub, and subscribe, man. This is going to be a fun stream tonight. So definitely hit that like button. If you're on TikTok, come over and join us on YouTube and Twitch. Again, linktr.ee/select screen. And make sure you
acknowledge me.
All right. I would really appreciate it if you do that, especially because we don't know what's going to happen with TikTok here in the next month or so. So we really want to see you selectors over there as well. Let's give some shout outs real quick before we get started. Let's see. Jose Hernandez, Diego Charles Hansford just joined. What up? What up? What up? Let us know how you guys are doing over there on TikTok. Let's see. Make sure we drop that in there for them as well. All right. So let's jump into this thing, man. I am ready to burn it down. I'm ready. You're ready. Let's go. Yes, sir. We're going to burn it down for sure. Let me go ahead and flip the screen here for you guys. Boo-doo-doo. Let's start this way. Let's talk about Kraven the Hunter first. If you guys did not watch my short on what I thought in theater of this movie, we've got some breaking news on that anyway. So this will be spoiler heavy again. First and foremost, this is the last of Sony's SpiderVerse live action movies for now. Yeah, I said it, for right now. I guess the thought right now is these movies aren't doing too well. And as we're going to see as we rank these things, there's a reason for that, right? But specifically Kraven the Hunter. Kraven the Hunter had a lot of bad press around it. It was pulled from like a bunch of theaters. It's starring Aaron Taylor Johnson, who we all know already played Kick Butt, and he's played Quicksilver before. So it was like, what in the world? Why is he Kraven the Hunter, right? That was kind of like out of the blue, what's going on kind of thing. And really and truly, guys, you know how we do these reviews. I'm going to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly of it. But let me tell you, let's start with the bad. Let's start with the bad on this one. The movie is what you think it is as far as dialogue goes.
Nope.
It has a lot of bad dialogue. Saint Boy Reggie, shout out to Saint Boy Reggie. He says movie looks bad. Here's the thing. Again, I gave the movie a C- D+ because the dialogue is really bad. Of course, it didn't help that Madam Web was absolutely horrid. And this movie alone doesn't quite make sense again because no Spider-Man, which this is a SpiderVerse kind of thing. No Spider-Man. The other movies have been terrible. Venom, which was probably the best of these villain movies. Venom 3 was really bad. So it looked like cheeks. Let's just be honest, right? It looked like cheeks. So I had very low expectations for this movie. Aaron Taylor Johnson is not who I would cast as Sergey. Sergey is a pretty big guy. You guys have seen the Spider-Man game. He's physically dominant. He's super intelligent. He has a great connection with Mariah, or as he says it, Mariah, right? Mariah, or his Calypso. And I just didn't think it was going to happen in this movie. So the negatives, the dialogue goes there. You hurt my brother. Oh, stuff like that. Some of the other negatives is the CG does not always hold up. And at times, the film doesn't know what it wants to be. We start out with Sergey breaking out of a prison. Then we do a flashback to when he's younger with his younger brother. And we kind of see how they're mistreated. But that first act is like all of him being young Sergey. And it was like, whoa, we're spending a lot of time as young Sergey and not like him being Kraven the Hunter. By the time he gets in the second act, things kind of pick up. So that was another big negative. And then, like I said, the CG, one of the villains in this movie is the Rhino. They did the best they could. I think it's much better than the Amazing Spider Rhino, for sure. But it's a lot of mustache twirling, I'm bad kind of stuff. There's another villain called the Foreigner, who I love Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man. He's my favorite superhero. I've never heard of this guy before. I couldn't tell you what his powers were. Like, he counted to 3 and then he like teleported and then he grabbed whatever weapon the person was using against him and they were like frozen in time and he'd stab them and kill them. It was like, who is this dude? It was confusing. It was really confusing and I felt like what the whole time. Okay. That's about it, though, on the negatives. There are some positives in this movie. This movie, again, why I went C- on the C- side of things, is Aaron Taylor Johnson actually is a decent Kraven. Also, Russell Crowe plays his father in this movie. And Russell Crowe, man, he still got it. He still got it. I think Russell Crowe and Aaron Taylor Johnson, they make the best of a not amazing script. As I said in my short, this movie is not good. It's not terrible. It's just kind of there. And that's exactly what kind of happens in this movie. Now, good things. Again, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Russell Crowe, they bring in great performances. They eventually get him into the costume that you're seeing either there we go, or there, depending on where you're watching. He eventually gets into the costume and it's done really well. It's kind of the end of the movie thing, which Sony has this thing for. Like, we're not going to put him in the costume until the end of the movie because that's what everybody wants. And it's like, that's not what made Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2 good. It was like, he looked like he was supposed to pretty much when he was supposed to, right? Once he knew who Spider-Man was, there it was. So, either way, when he puts that jacket on, man, it makes a lot of like, okay, I like that. Big spoiler here, big spoiler. Again, Kraven has a brother, and if you know the comic books or you've played one of the most recent games, his brother actually is Chameleon, and I thought they were going to 100% save that for a sequel, should it get a sequel, and they do in some respects, But we do get to see a live action Chameleon, and Chameleon looks really dope. Really dope, to the point where he looks like he normally does. He goes to a doctor who, again, if you know your Spider-Man comics, is the Jackal. And no joke, he changes and he's got the like kind of blank face that Chameleon has, and then he changes into Kraven, and it looks pretty good. I was like, dang, I kind of want a Chameleon movie. I've never loved Chameleon, but it would make sense for Kraven to have to hunt down his brother, and that could have been an interesting movie. But again, I don't think we're going to get there. Oh! Some other things about the movie that did work. The power set of Kraven, they really kind of give you this animalistic like reason for him to have the powers, right? It's not like Madam Web where she just like randomly like, okay, now she can do stuff. He gets the serum from Calypso. I didn't say this in my negative, but they never call her Mariah. She's never, he does get wounded and she gives him, the special potion. I feel like the special potion and the tarot cards were a little much for me, just spiritually and all of that stuff. But at the end of the day, she gives him the serum the right way, as the comics do. So I could really appreciate that. So they at least read the comic books, I feel like, in this one. So that's a positive.
Approved.
The biggest thing about this movie, though, as a positive, is they made this movie R-rated. And I've got to say, I didn't think I wanted an R-rated Kraven. I didn't think it was necessarily necessary. But I guess when you have someone who gets bitten by a lion, you don't want to kind of fake that. But there are some kills in here that I think rival the Punisher TV show. I mean, there's one kill where a guy gets split in half and you see the whole thing. So that is definitely getting our of the day. The violence was on point. I mean, it made sense when it happened, and it makes me think that they should have made Venom 3. They should have made Venom 2 rated R. A rated R Carnage would have been amazing. But for some reason, they didn't do that. I think this movie did prove that if they would have taken this Sony SpiderVerse in a different direction and maybe made the whole thing R, it could have did some things. But the biggest thing, again, is that they didn't include Spider-Man. I don't know why I don't know if it's contractual with, Marvel proper, the MCU, but that's what was missing. So is it a terrible movie? No. As we're going to see in my ranking here in just a minute, it's not the worst Sony movie. Is it the best Sony SpiderVerse movie? No, it's not either. It is definitely not that either. Woo! All right, let's jump into the ranking of it. Let's see. Do I have anything else I want to discuss with you guys on this? Not necessarily. I'd love to hear what you guys think in the comments. Let me know what you think. And let's jump into Select Screen Spider-Man Universe ranking. Okay, that's what we're going to call this thing. Yeah, I've got all movies pulled up, and I'm going to do my best. We're going to move some of these around. We're going to move some of these around as we go. I wonder if I can even do it this way. Let's see. Yeah. All right, we'll do it like this. My Spider-Man ranking. Okay. Try and make that bigger for you guys. Something like that. Something like that. I wonder. I even got a different idea to make this look better for you guys. How about that? Can we just maybe we can duplicate this tab. Let's see if this works. I don't know. I just got a crazy idea to display this for you guys. Like so. And let's see if this works. You never know. Unless you try, right? Like I said, Rhino. I don't know. I don't know how you can do Rhino in a movie and not have him be somewhat cheesy. It's just kind of how it works. Let's flip this real quick. This might be dope if this actually updates. We'll see. Putting a lot of stress on my computer. We'll see how it works. If it works. It may work, it may not. All right. So. Are you ready? I think you guys are ready. I'm ready to do this too. Let's check this out. And see if it works. All right. I'm going to start with 25. We may not have exactly 25 numbers, but we will we'll adjust as needed, okay? And pull this guy back up right here. Like so. Okay, let's see if this works. Most definitely. We all know exactly what movie is going at the bottom of this list. I thought it was going to be Morbius. But it is most definitely Madam Web. Madam Web was horrendous.
Oh, yeah.
It was horrendous. I mean, dialogue was bad, effects were bad, story made no sense. They teased us with the Spider-Man, and we never got it. We didn't even get his name dropped, which is crazy to me. Like, they can't even say Peter Parker? That's crazy. Madam Web, absolutely, positively, the worst. What else can I say about it? If you've been a fan of the channel for a while, you already know what is the next in line. It's got to be Morbius. Morbius had some potential in that it had the scary factor. But Morbius just, the villain just did not catch on at all. It just didn't work. It didn't work at all. Gosh, I thought there were more movies in this. We'll reorder them and make this list look nice and neat. All right. Following that, now it's getting a little tricky here. Following that, I gotta go with my gut here. Venom. The Last Dance. Venom: The Last Dance wasn't great. It wasn't great. Story was all over the place. And for a movie that was supposed to wrap everything up, I think we had more questions because, gosh, they undid the majority of what they built, right? That hurts. That hurts pretty bad. Arl says, let me in. We're definitely gonna open the Discord up, bro. For sure. For sure. We'll do that here in just a bit. Now, those movies, those bottom 3 movies, I feel like those movies are 100% can't stand them, will not watch them again. Right? I'm just not going to do it. I think that's pretty much right. I think we can all agree there. From here, things get a little bit more dicey. It gets a little dicey here, where it's like, these movies aren't the worst. They're not good movies, but they're not the worst. And at the bottom of that, list, that being said, that's where I'm going to put Kraven the Hunter. Huntr. There we go. Kraven's not the worst. He's in the, like, if you put this movie on while, like, you're at a party, you'd go, oh, okay. Oh, that was kind of gross. Like, somewhat interesting, you know. So we probably put that one there. This next one, I think, is going to shock some people. Again, I don't hate this movie. I just don't think it stood up to being as good as the rest of the list. And again, this is another movie. If it's on, I'm not going to be like, turn that off, it's trash. But I'm going with The Amazing Spider-Man here. I really, really like the relationship that they established with Gwen and Peter. But my goodness, that Spider-Man suit in that movie is just so bad. Most people love it. The Amazing Spider-Man suit, for me, burn it down! I do not like that suit at all. It does not look good. And you can't convince me otherwise. That suit is annoying. I don't feel like the lizard CGI has held up that well. The story, you know, it's an okay movie. It's okay. It's just okay. Above that, we're getting close here. This is going to be another shocker, I think, for people. No pun intended. I'm going to put Spider-Man Far From Home. Why? I know a lot of people love that one. I think it's just okay, because Mysterio, it's kind of like The Dark Knight Rises. I feel like Mysterio overshadowed Spider-Man in that movie. Mysterio, the scenes with him messing with Spider-Man are probably the best scenes in the movie. Whereas it was too much universe building and we're trying to get to something else. And yeah, it just, Spider-Man outside of New York is really weird to me. I don't know. It just, for me, it kind of doesn't work, but it's okay. You know what I mean? It's just okay. And I already see I'm gonna make a change to this list. I can already tell you because I forgot a movie. We're gonna make a change. We're gonna make an audible to this list. Gosh. Yeah, we're gonna make a change to this list. I'm gonna move Spider-Man Far From Home. I'm gonna move it up. 1. In between that, I'm going to put Spider-Man. I'm going to put Spider-Man 3. And again, a lot of people are going to say, Spider-Man 3 was trash, bro. What are you talking about? The movie was horrible. Go back and watch that movie again. I'm not a huge Sandman. Hey, Chrissy Logan's here too. Appreciate you coming through. Spider-Man 3, it's not a terrible movie. When you look at some of the other things that happen. The scene with Sandman becoming Sandman still looks really good to this day.
Approved.
While Venom was a letdown, that's probably why it's kind of placed where it's at. The Green Goblin stuff, even though he was, surfboarding Green Goblin, they did a good job paying off the whole Harry Osborn thing. For sure. Kraven that low? Kraven is, and again, we're going to move these over into kind of like a top 10. This is kind of the soft list. Kraven is the start of these movies aren't the worst thing ever. Anything Venom, The Last Dance, and down is do not ever watch it. Right? Kraven the Hunter starts like, if it's on at a Christmas party for some reason and you happen to have nothing else to do, it's not terrible, It's going to make you feel like,
I'm going to put some dirt in your eye.
Something like that. It's not the worst. It's just not the best either. Is it better than Amazing Spider-Man? No, it's not. It's not better than Spider-Man 3, and it's not better than Far From Home. Yeah. So we'll kind of adjust those numbers as we go. Next, I'm probably going to go. Clue said, I digress. Kraven is 24. You think it's worse than Venom The Last Dance? No, bro. It's not worse than Venom. Kraven, I will say this. Kraven at least tells a complete story. And like I said, it has some cameos. The cameo of talking about oh gosh, why am I forgetting his name now? Of Rhino being realized, it works. Chameleon looks awesome. So there is some awesomeness in it. The action is decent. The action was pretty decent. There's still he's climbing on walls. Why is he not the Black Panther to it? But there's some scenes, and like I said, the rated R, it earned a rated R rating. Like I said, when they split a guy in half, and I was like, woof. Like that was my whole theater, all 7 of us. We were all like, oh dang, There's a couple of jokes that hit, not many, but there's a couple of jokes that were kind of funny on purpose. So I can say that a lot more than Venom. I can say that a lot more than Morbius, and I can say that a lot more than Madam Web. Those movies were like, can this please end? Which again, I'm so sad about with Venom. I liked Venom for what it was. And as a matter of fact, I think I'm going to put in this spot above Spider-Man Far From Home. I'm going to put the original Venom movie. And the reason that I'm putting it there is Venom, the first Venom movie understands what they wanted to do. Is it completely comic book accurate? Is it perfect? No. But Venom is a fun movie where they really, at the time, had to re-explain the whole their symbiotes thing. They even messed up in the marketing. It was kind of like the Sonic the Hedgehog thing, where they called it a symbiote or something like that. And everybody said, do not call it a symbiote, call it a symbiote. And they fixed it. So I got to give them a little bit of credit there. Venom is, again, another one of those movies. If it's on at, your friend's birthday party in the background, you might get a laugh or two, right? I'm going to put next. And again, this is controversial. I know this is controversial. I'm going with Venom 2 over Venom. And a lot of people hate Let There Be Carnage. I'm just going to call it Venom 2. You guys know what Venom 2 is. But I still think that the casting of Carnage, one, they paid it off. We know that they don't know how to pay things off in the third movie, but they paid off Carnage. They got rid of the silly wig from the first Venom. They heard some of our problems. And again, the script is not perfect. There's a lot of bad dialogue. But think about that scene when Carnage breaks out of that jail cell. If they would have made that rated R, that scene would have been the best scene in this Marvel SpiderVerse. Carnage was awesome. He was really awesome, and he looked awesome. They did a really good job on the way he looked. One of my favorite lines from the Venom movies is, "Oh crap, that one's the red one." Like, that makes me laugh every single time. I know I know it. But Venom 2 has some moments that they're fun. And again, it's one of my favorite villains on the big screen. I never thought we were going to get Carnage ever. I never thought we were going to see that. Could they have done like a complete maximum Carnage? Absolutely. But Christy said, tired of seeing Woody Harrelson. He was who I fan casted. He really was. And so that's why, again, that movie has a little bit of a place in my heart to, again, put it where, hey, if it's on, we're okay. They did kill off Carnage too quickly. Cletus may be the biggest antagonist of the Venomverse. I completely agree with you on that. And what they should have done is they should have made where they tried to make Null in The Last Dance. That should have been Carnage's role. Carnage should have been the Thanos of this Spider-Verse, right? He should have been amassing. If you've ever played the Maximum Carnage video game, it's perfect. It's literally perfect. That game is a side-scrolling beat 'em up where Spider-Man needs the help of Avengers like Captain America, and Carnage goes and he builds his own team of Scream and Demo Goblin, all of these people, and they go at it. The comic is fantastic, and the game, I dare say, might be better. It's fantastic, and that's what they should have done. Not Null. Null's too new. All right. Now we're getting into, let's see, before I say this. Now we're getting into, I watch these movies when I think of watching a Spider-Verse movie. I think, like, if someone says, where should I start watching Spider-Man movies? Anything from here up is like, take a little bit of time and watch these movies at some point in time in your life. All right. I'm going to go with, This is getting tough. This is getting tough. I'm gonna go with. Okay. Yep. This is gonna shock you guys. I know you're gonna say this, but Spider-Man Homecoming. Homecoming is a good movie. I think it's a good movie. Again, doing what you're doing. You want to see a good Spider-Man movie. Spider-Man Homecoming is a good place to jump on board. Okay. Right? It's a good place to really see Michael Keaton in an amazing role. Michael Keaton again he's great. The scene where Peter is in the car, if you've ever dated someone and met their father, that scene everyone can relate to, right? It's like, I'm just here to pick up your daughter, you know. And then you find out that, oh man, he's the Vulture. Like, that was good. It was pretty good. The Vulture costume wasn't great, and I don't love Vulture as a character anyway, so they breathed some life into the culture, or to the comic book. He's supposed to be an old man who drains energy, and then he gets younger. We didn't need that, right? That was a good call. Chrissy says, if you don't like that person, Madam Web. Yeah, Madam Web is a throw up on your sweater, your Christmas sweater kind of movie, right? Another old dude playing a bad guy, though. And this started that trend for me. It did. It was another old guy. And I don't know, Gyllenhaal, is he considered an old guy? I don't know. But Spider-Man Homecoming Vulture or the Flash Batman, I'm still going with Vulture, as crazy as that sounds. And I love Michael Keaton Batman. I love it. He's my favorite Batman, but that was not in the Flash. Not at all. So Homecoming there. Next up, another one that's gonna surprise some people here. I'm putting the Amazing Spider-Man here. The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Why? Why am I putting The Amazing Spider-Man 2 when we just talked about how bad the Rhino was? I have said for years, one of the things that makes Spider-Man a cool superhero is his villains are awesome. And he has some top tier villains that are amazing. And then he has some B-lister villains who are also great. But I've said time and time and time again, Spider-Man movies should have him catching a minor villain early on and then getting to the main villain later. And that's exactly what they did in this movie. I mean, he really did, take out the Rhino early. Of course, the Rhino comes back in a terrible mech suit. But he did that. We move into the most comic book accurate suit ever, outside of what we're going to see in No Way Home. That suit, the eyes, it all really worked. Andrew Garfield, he acted his behind off during the scene where Gwen dies. He really did a great job in that movie. And I know it ended that series, but I think we would all be fine with an Amazing Spider-Man 3 because of the character work that they did in that film. It was really, really great. The fight scenes, we could have used more of, Electro, but as character development goes, Amazing Spider-Man 2 is amazing. Chrissy says, do we believe Keaton has a 16-year-old daughter, though? Well, I mean, yes. We do. And the reason being is he looked pretty rough around the edges because he was a working man. He was a working man. He had his hands to the plow, if you will. He was, he's seen some stuff. That's why I forgave that. He had seen some stuff. And we weren't focused on Zendaya, Mary Jane, which I don't think works. I want her to be Mary Jane, Mary Jane. Zendaya can play Mary Jane, but play Mary Jane. Don't play this, depressed, I hate everything Mary Jane. Be Mary Jane, And so I'll take it. What was her name? Liz? I think her name was Liz. I'll take it. That was fine. There was a little bit of drama there. Ned was good, We can live with it. I think we can live with that. I mean, they could have got a younger actor. Clue said, but she never came out and said she's MJ. She does, though, bro. She does. She says, I think it's in No Way Home. She says her name's Mary Jane Watts. Right? Mary Jane Watts or something like that. But don't call me that because she doesn't go by her dad's name. Which, again, makes sense. But it was Watts. Yeah, instead of Watson. And it was like, okay, all right, okay. They have not developed her is what I'm getting at. Is that they have not developed her at the end of the day. Boy, this is getting tough. I think we're going to move. Whew. I go back and forth on this all the time. I think for the sake of the viewers here, not literally burning my web shooters, I'm going to put Sam Raimi's. Yes, I'm including those movies. First Spider-Man movie. I want to rank this movie higher. Why? Because Uncle Ben was done really well. Right? Really, 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 really well. I enjoyed Aunt May more. I feel like she played a better role there than Marissa Tomei. But what makes the original Spider-Man movie is the Green Goblin. William Dafoe's portrayal of the Green Goblin is 100% perfect. I got it at 14, but these are all going to move over, right? This is the soft list on the right. It's not technically at 14. These are all going to kind of move. This is kind of the soft list of just getting them on the list. We're going to move those over once I kind of define, once I got them all on the list. Boy. Now, this is what I'm saying. I had to do this because you guys would have been very upset with me if I had these reversed. We're going Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2. Chrissy said, that's an old bad guy. Old bad guy can get behind. Yeah, William Dafoe was just... It's his face and it's the, the Thanksgiving of it all. And Norman. It's just, the fact that he has not played Joker is ridiculous to me. But yeah, we're going to go with Spider-Man 2. Over, come on, I can type, I promise. Over Spider-Man 1, even though I like the villains better in Spider-Man 1, Doc Ock was great. Melina was great. But the Mary Jane stuff wears on me a little bit in Spider-Man 2. it gets a little bit, like, really, I don't know. When she's with John Jameson, I was just kind of like, really? Like, I just didn't buy it. And then Doc Ock is cool. Visually, he's neat. The fight was good, but I don't like the way that movie ends. And that's when we're going to get into that a little bit more. But I don't like the way he rips down the collider thing and he falls into the ocean. When I first watched that movie, I felt like we're never going to see Dr. Octopus again. And it felt wrong. I feel like Doc Ock was one that should have just always been around. You can't drown him. You know what I mean? And was he a good guy? Was he a bad guy? They were just trying to make him sympathetic. And I just didn't like the way the film ended as much as I did Spider-Man 1. That's why I typically put Spider-Man 1 over 2, but I think the internet would freak out if I put Spider-Man 1 over 2. We're going to talk about that, Clue. Yes, we are going to talk about that. All right. I think Spider-Man 1, 2 are in those must-see movies. Must see. That leaves just a couple more. And then we'll get these ordered in the 1 through, I think we only got like 15 of these. That leaves us with Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2. We got 3, Amazing, Amazing 2, Venom, Homecoming, Carnage. Whew. Actually, we've got 3 left. We've got 3 left. Yep. Speaking of which, Spider-Man No Way Home. No Way Home, for me, is still the best live-action Spider-Man film ever. Why Spider-Man 3 emo dance scene should be its own ranking. we could do like the best and the worst moments from Spider-Man films, right? For sure. Spider-Man No Way Home had an impossible task. The rumors of that movie were that all 3 Spider-Men were going to be together, that Doc Ock, that Green Goblin, that Electro were coming back, and it did it, and somehow tied into the MCU and wrapped up what had happened in Far From Home. And it may have set up what we're going to see with Spider-Man in the future. It made Doctor Strange interesting. I mean, the movie did a lot of things that, I don't know. I didn't think it was going to be possible to come out of that movie without being like, oh, all right, we overrated it. We didn't overrate that movie. Yeah, fragments of the SpiderVerse. I mean, yeah. I mean, it kind of set up rules for the multiverse. And probably if we would have stuck to the No Way Home reasoning, I think the Marvel Cinematic Universe would have been better, right? These villains are coming in. It's part of the reason why some of these other movies are terrible, like Morbius. Morbius kind of undid what No Way Home did. And that's because we don't like Morbius, because No Way Home set up the rules pretty well. It made sense that, the spell had messed things up and these villains were coming in. And yeah, it's just a phenomenal movie. And I go back and I watch it. To RL's point, I don't watch it as much as I thought I would. But if I had to, like, if you asked me what is like the 3 Spider-Man movies that I have to see, I think Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man, the original, and No Way Home are must-sees. Now, I'm not going to count Civil War with his appearance in that. I'm not going to count Infinity War, and I'm not going to count Endgame in these because they're not Spider-Man and they're not Sony. But those are must-sees. Ku says, thanks, Sony Marvel Cinematic Universe. You guys forever holding out, and you guys just suck. And that's primarily this did it right here. This doomed it. Pun intended, right? Now, that being said, there's hope because of what we're about to put on here next. There is hope. The second Spider-Man movie, we're already going to go ahead and put this at number 2. And we'll start putting this in an official list. Is, without a doubt, Spider-Man Japan. I'm just kidding. Into the SpiderVerse. You know what? We'll just go into the SpiderVerse. What can I say about this movie? The soundtrack, the visual style, the impossible task, again, of somehow introducing another Spider-Man in animated form that we love so much. We're begging Sony to let this all go so that we can get Miles Morales into the MCU. That movie is fantastic. It's not only, it's one of the greatest movies I think of all time. It does so much emotionally. It's not on the nose. It's what we think of when we think of Spider-Man, in the sense that he's coming of age. And oh wait, they do it in spite of our traditional Spider-Man. And I say in spite of because the Spider-Man, the Peter Parker that I think even the way Miles was seen in the comics was always, he's a rip-off character of Peter Parker, right? You're seeing that happen a lot right now with Falcon Captain America. He's not the real Captain America, blah, 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 blah. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse changed that for Miles. Miles now, in a lot of kids' minds, is Spider-Man. And that's not a slight against Peter at all. We love Peter, we'll always love Peter. But one of the hard things about comics is that they don't move in time, right? Look at what we're doing. And don't get me wrong, I love Captain America. I love Steve Rogers, the whole thing. But the guy originated during Nazi times. It's a little bit, it's kind of hard to relate to some of that right now, for at least for my kids, right? Another thing I've got to put this out here is culturally. Again, I've told the story on this channel before that growing up, one of the reasons that I loved Spider-Man so much was that he had a mask on. And I was told as a kid that I couldn't be Batman. And I loved Batman. Batman was my favorite hero as a kid for a long time, until I was told, you're black. You can't be Batman. And one thing I always loved about Spider-Man was I could be Spider-Man. And they leaned and understood into that so well. You can be under the mask. It made it so anybody could be Spider-Man. And that is a tremendous feat, especially for an animated film. Into the Spider-Verse is a must-watch movie, not just for Spider-Man fans, but I think it's a must-watch if you like movies in general. When I see kids of different nationalities dressing up as Miles Morales, it's inspiring. It really is. All right, I'm just going to put these last couple here. Let me read the comments. Is this looking a little bit better, RL, for you? I didn't want to put them. You never start at 1, right? All right, one more. This hot piece of trash. We're going to talk a little bit more on what's number 1. We're also going to start, maybe we'll do honorable mentions before you guys obviously know what number 1 is. Honorable mentions. Obviously, Civil War. Infinity War. And Endgame. Right. But yes, this is, those are all pretty important. Clue said right. I'm gonna butcher this name. Renezi Felice, after watching acting in The Penguin, or Miles Brown from Blackish as Miles Morales. Ooh. I just started The Penguin. I'm not mad at that, at Felice at all. Yeah. Clue said, I agree, select, and this is before Black Panther became popular, and Stan Lee had the uncomfortable comic debut of him on Fantastic Four. If people don't know, T'Challa's debut was on Fantastic Four. Yes, he was. It was called Jungle Action, and Sue Storm was intrigued. Yep. That was a thing. That was a whole thing. And to this day, it would have been interesting. I'm glad they didn't wait this long to introduce Black Panther, but that would have been interesting to have him in Fantastic Four, because he would have naturally fit there. Yes, post it in Discord real quick because I can't really see it. Okay. Yes, I will get that. We'll definitely have this over in Discord. So that brings us to, we do have, and Clue brought this up as well, we have one more movie in this SpiderVerse thing that's live action, and that will be Noir Spider, where Nicolas Cage, I'm going to say that again, Nicolas Cage.
What?
Is going to play a live action version of, if you guys don't know who Noir Spider is, he was in Into the Spider-Verse. He only sees in black and white. And he's in like really the old days, the old timey kind of thing. I've played a game with Noir Spider, and then I've read one of the comics where it's a very different story, but it's a period piece. And it could be interesting. It could be. I'm interested to see how they convert this stuff into live action. Hopefully they don't damage. They don't damage what they did in Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse. Yeah, his Spidey guns is a web Tommy gun. Yeah. That pretty much sums it up right there.
Hello, baby. Did
So
you miss me?
that brings us to number 1. And it should not be any surprise to you. Spider-Man. Across the Spider-Verse. This movie, guys, again, it doubled what Into the Spider-Verse did. And I'm not going to lie. I went into it being a little bit like, there's no way they do it again, right? But again, the soundtrack is crazy. Like, Metro had the biggest tag outside of... Right? But Metro, like, everybody knows that now, right? And not only from, he knows, people know it from his music, but SpiderVerse made it for everybody. That soundtrack is crazy. Visually, they did it again. They made the Spot, who is quite possibly, outside of the Jackal, who I was talking about earlier, I couldn't think of his name. He's one of the worst Spider-Man villains. Like, when they said the Spot was going to be the villain, I was like, ain't no way I'm going to like this movie. And they made the Spot cool. They brought in Spider-Man India. They brought in, it just, the movie is fantastic. For me, it's my favorite animated film ever. To somehow balance an evil Spider-Man, which Miguel isn't evil, but to show that point of view, to tie in Venom. I mean, Across the Spider-Verse does a better job of the multiverse than the Venom, Morbius, Madam Web movies does. It's crazy how they explain the web of destiny and all of it in such a little amount of time. The jokes are hilarious. You get cameos. We're surprised by Childish Gambino makes a live action appearance. I mean, Beyond the Spider-Verse is going to have a monumental task ahead of it. And I think that's why it's been delayed so long. I really do. That movie has to be everything the first two were. And it's got to somehow either wrap up or somehow throw Miles into the MCU. And I'm hopeful they can do it. I'm hopeful. The task ahead of them is beyond scope. But somehow they're going to have to pay this off. It's going to be something. BTS. Beyond the Spider-Verse is going to hit different. Yeah. But Beyond the Spider-Verse will introduce everyone to Miles in the MCU. And I want you guys to clip this. If at the end of this movie, Miles walks through a portal and that's the way they introduce live action Miles Morales, like he walks through a portal and out comes whoever it is. Let's say, I know Jaden Smith wanted to play him. I know Childish Gambino wanted to at one point in time. Let's just, for the sake of it, say it's Childish Gambino. If he's too old to play him, probably, but you get what I'm saying. If they do that, I think I'll be happy with the movie. It would have to be something like that at the end of the movie where they do bring him into the MCU live action. I think what they'll probably do realistically, and I wouldn't say this is perfect, but we'll hit the perfect button. What they should do is similar to what they did in Across the Spider-Verse, is Miles comes over to the MCU and he's still animated. Right? So he walks through a portal and he meets Tom Holland and he's still going to be animated. I think that's at least what they're going to start to do. And then I don't know. I just have that feeling that he's in the MCU, but he's still animated, which is going to be weird. I don't know. That just kind of hit me. Arl says, it doesn't matter who it is, but seeing him in live would be good. Yeah. And At this point in time, yeah, we want him in live action. I don't want him in, 3D, but I could see them doing that. And them going, look, he's there, and Peter met him, and, But it would be great if they casted someone to to play him, and he walks over and walks through, and we get from, beyond the Spider-Verse look through a Doctor Strange portal, and we get the introduction. Don't make the introduction at Comic-Con. Don't make the introduction via press release. Have it happen in the movie and really surprise us. Clue says, you have to close the trilogy the best way as a send-off. An introduction to how his animation ends up molding it into live action. Absolutely agree. That would be the perfect way to do it. And wrap this thing up. I don't think they're going to just leave the Spot as the villain, though. Right? I still think we're going to get more. And again, this goes back to my Spider-Man rule. Think about Across the Spider-Verse. There was a Da Vinci style vulture at the beginning that they had to all capture. That's what makes Spider-Man movies so cool, is seeing other villains. Like, he's catching a villain on the way to stop a villain, or even just to go to class. Like, seeing those kind of things, that's what makes Spider-Man so cool, and really even different than Batman's rogue gallery. Those are my thoughts. I want to open up. Clue said I would laugh if it became Spider-Pig. What if they if they bring Spider-Pig over live action? He should be in the Nicolas Cage one. That would be funny. And if it was like, if he looked, again, he comes over to meet Noir Spider, and he looks kind of like how the Space Jam movies did it. That could really work. That could work. Spider-Pig in live action. I never thought we would see Spider-Pig. I guess he's technically Spider-Ham, right? Spider-Ham, even in animation. I didn't think that was going to happen, but here we are. You know what I mean? Here we are.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let me, can I drop this? Drop this in Discord. Let's see. I should be able to download this real quick. We're going to open up the Discord. I want to hear what you guys think about this ranking. And let's see, download that. And we're going to do a 60-second here for our TikTok viewers as well. Here we go. What's going on, everybody? Select Screen here with my official ranking of Spider-Man, the Spider-Man universe. Our official ranking at number 1 is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, 2, Into the Spider-Verse, No Way Home, Spider-Man 2, The Original Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man, Spider-Man Homecoming, Venom 2, Venom, and then Spider-Man Far From Home rounds out our top 10. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Yeah, he's not Spider-Pig. He's Harry. He's Harry Porker. Homer Simpson. I need another Simpsons movie, man. I need another Simpsons movie. I'm really surprised I didn't get a sequel as fast as it should have. That Simpsons movie was great. He's Harry Porker. Oh, man. Yeah, they'll probably do it. I bet you that'll be the last thing they do is one more movie. And it's getting close, Simpsons. It's getting close. I know they got another season, but we're getting to the end, I think. All right, let me drop this in Discord. If you guys haven't, go to linktr.ee/select screen. Definitely like, share, and subscribe, guys, to the channel. Let me put this in all movies where we talk and really are making a very awesome community of selectors. By the way, we hit 200,000 views the other day, which is really, really dope. Is that the whole thing? I just wanted to download just the image, just that one image. All right, while I'm doing this, I want to know, would you rather have a secret identity like Spider-Man? Excuse me. Would you rather have a secret identity like Spider-Man or be a hero in the public eye like Iron Man? Let me know in the comments right now. Would you rather have a secret identity like Spider-Man or be a hero in the public eye like Iron Man? All right. So that is our would you rather for today. I want to download. I just want that one image. PNG. And will it let me do just page 8? Yes, it will. Okay. So, again, our would you rather is as follows. Would you rather have a secret identity like Spider-Man or be a public hero in the eye of the public like Iron Man? I think it's interesting in Iron Man. Was it Iron Man 3? I think it was Iron Man 3 that basically he had to deal with that. Let's see. Did we lose? Yeah, we lost some of the comments in the chat. Let me pop over to Twitch real quick. Clue's going with option A. He'd rather have a secret identity. That's what's up, man. I think I would rather have the secret identity too, because if someone finds out, then you can deal with it. But if everybody knows, people are going to attack your house. They're going to attack your family. Like, it's just, the IRS is coming for you. Like, it's a thing. Clue says, I need a milestone movie. I wanted to say this. Blurred Without Fear was speaking with one of the creators from Milestone. Man, it was great to hear. Wow. That'd be cool. That'd be cool. RL's going with option A as well. Secret identities. I think secret identities are a good thing. I'm hoping in this new MCU that they're going to create that we get secret identities. I think that would be another way that they can differentiate from what they've done in the past. It'd be kind of cool to do. All right. One last time for the people in the back. Would you rather have a secret identity like Spider-Man or be a public hero in the public eye like Iron Man? I want to know in the comments.
Yo, what up, Select?
RL's in the building. What's up, bro?
Hey, what's up, man?
How we doing?
I'm all right. I'm all right. Appreciate you going live and putting out the list.
Most definitely, man.
I'm looking now. I feel like, yeah, this is my list as well. I agree with your list. I like your list.
Any changes?
Wait, what is 8? Oh, honorable mentions.
Yeah, honorable mentions. Obviously, he was in Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame.
Yeah, there's a change. Yeah.
Oh, did we lose him?
Since you.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
You still there, RL?
Game. They cracked the top 10, but I don't know where to put them.
Oh, man. It's breaking up for me. Can you still hear me?
and if you're just watching it just for Spider-Man, I'm talking about just those characters, just the Spider-Man appearance.
The Spider-Man.
I gotta give it to the Russo brothers. They, all three films, and his introduction, without having the backstory, without him being bit.
Uh-oh. RL, do me a favor,
Peter's
man.
house.
Can you hear me?
You can't top that as far as live action. Not having to repeat the cycle of seeing him get bit by a spider again.
Very true. Very true. We lost you on some of that, RL, but what I got from what you were saying is that you definitely can't go back and re-show
Can you
this.
hear me? Hello?
Let's see. I'm here. Hello, hello. Let's see. You there?
Yeah, I'm gonna take it off here. I have it off speaker.
Okay.
You can hear me now?
Yeah, that's much better. Much better. Real quick, Clue said too much of a God complex
yeah.
thing if you're Tony.
Okay.
That's what's up. Yeah. Okay. Can you say all of that again, RL? It was kind of cutting in and out.
All right, my bad. So since I see Infinity War, Endgame, and Civil War and honorable mentions,
Uh-oh.
it
Dang.
or just his appearance, even if it wasn't the whole film.
All right. Let me send him a message because it's...
Civil War as far as appearances, and then Infinity War, he was great in that, and Endgame, he was great in that. But I don't know what. I'm trying to look at the list again. I want to see who I would take out.
Okay.
I would take out Venom. No, not. I'll take out Venom 2 and the Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Oh, you take him completely out?
And Spider-Man 3, yeah, I'll take him out of the list, of that top 10. I don't want to say I'm taking them completely out, but just of that top 10. I don't know. I would put them on the second list. I don't know how I would place them, but
Fair enough. Fair enough. All of those
but
would
it's
be
just off of
negotiable.
his appearance and him, just him being at max level with his fighting in Infinity War and Endgame.
For sure.
But other than that, I agree with everything that you put on there. Wouldn't do anything different.
Yeah. I mean, you could.
That's all I can think of right now.
I think you could.
Well, let me ask you this, man. Yeah, this is what I want.
Yeah.
Hello?
I'm still here. It's kind of like cutting in and out.
Okay, my bad.
That's okay. We're doing all this stuff remote, so.
I was gonna ask you. Who? Okay, what's the best action scene from our fighting scene from if you had to do like the top 17 rank, how would you rank those as far as are you ranking just the film as a whole, or just your favorite action scenes, or your favorite Spider-Man scene? What if you had? Well, matter of fact, if you had to pick a favorite Spider-Man moment in each of your selection, what would they be?
That's a really good question. I think this lineup changes pretty drastically if you go by any of those parameters, because I'll be honest with you, the best action scene in all of these movies, I would actually probably put Kraven the Hunter number 1. As crazy as that sounds.
Oh, okay, I got.
I would put Across the SpiderVerse number 2 for the chase scene. But Kraven, the scene where Kraven, and again, this is a spoiler review, but Kraven goes off in an almost Black Panther meets Wolverine kind of moment. And I'm telling you, the whole movie was kind of, okay, this is decent, and then it's not, and then it's decent, it's not. But that scene, everyone in the theater was like, whoa. Like, there was something that they had there that they got the essence of the character there. And it was like, oh, this could be a turning point in the movie. And it doesn't pay off. But the action, yeah. Again, there wasn't a whole lot of him, and I'm using this in a negative term, but Black Panthering around, you know. There's a couple of times where he's like jumping from window to window and it's like parkour and it's like, okay, this looks ridiculous. But when they're doing the hand-to-hand stuff, I was like, this is legit. Like, yeah. As far as my favorite scenes from each, I feel like we could do a whole nother stream about it. But very, very quickly, the entire chase scene in Across the Spider-Verse, the upside down fall in Into the Spider-Verse, No Way Home, it's hard for me because there's a lot of moments in there. It's between the reveals of the other Spider-Man, or it's kind of the scene with Green Goblin where Peter number 1 is going to stab him with the glider and Peter number 2 stops him. That's a pretty big moment. That going back and watching that movie again, I was like, if the original Tobey Spider didn't go through what he went through, he probably would have let Tom kill the Green Goblin. Like, so that moment kind of rolls all into one. Spider-Man 2, my favorite scene is when they're scaling the building with Aunt May and he drops her, and that whole scene is incredible. Spider-Man, a lot of people are going to say the train scene. The train scene's not my favorite scene because the whole Peter has his mask off and he's just a kid thing. I was like, why has he got his mask off again? Was that Spider-Man 1? No, that was Spider-Man 2. Yeah. Spider-Man 2, the moment, it had to be scaling the building where Doc Ock is throwing stuff at him. Spider-Man 1 is the Don't Tell Harry.
Oh, yeah.
Don't tell Harry. Ooh, that was like a gut punch. Like, ooh. And really sets up Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Amazing Spider-Man 2 really was, gosh, when Gwen dies, basically from when Gwen dies on, that movie's, man, I didn't think it was going to hit like that. Homecoming is absolutely the car scene with the dad. Venom 2 is Carnage being Carnage. Venom 1 is actually the end of the movie for me, is when they say we are Venom. That was pretty dope. Far From Home was the Mysterio scene where he's like in the he's in the building and like having the Peter Tingle, you know, got to use the Peter Tingle, and all of that stuff was happening to him. That was awesome. Spider-Man 3, I know Christy is going to say it's got to be the emo part, but really, I have it on our sound. It's this one.
I'm gonna put some dirt in your eye.
I love that whole part. It is hilarious to me. Amazing Spider-Man. It's the first person swinging. That was pretty sweet. That was pretty cool. Like I said, Kraven is the action scene where he kind of goes into a Wolverine-like moment. Venom: The Last Dance. The horse thing probably would have been my favorite moment, but then they ruined that in the trailer. Gosh, this is tough. Like I said, this is the bottom of the barrel stuff. I don't know. I guess I liked when the symbiotes were fighting each other. That was probably the best part of that movie. But it wasn't Venom focused. You know, I'll take it back. My favorite part of The Last Dance was what we saw in the trailer when they're trying to say we are Venom and they're not on the same page. That was humorous. Morbius. I really didn't like Morbius. I think probably the reveal of him as Morbius, when he finally looked like the vampire, that was probably the best part of the movie. And Madam Web, Madam Web, my favorite part of that movie is actually not when they get the costumes, because it was too little too late. My favorite part of Madam Web was probably when she drops the girls off in a forest and she's like trying to keep this guy from killing these girls. And she drops them off in a random forest, and then she comes back and she's like, why aren't you guys here in this random forest? Why are you at a diner? And it's like, these girls are probably hungry, cold, angry. Like, it was the most amusing part to me, but for the wrong reasons. Civil War, Spider-Man specific, was obviously, you know, the high guys when he takes Cap's shield. Infinity War, I think, let's see, did he suit up in Infinity War? Did he have the Iron Spider suit in Infinity War? I have to look at that.
Spider-Man Homecoming, the boat scene.
Homecoming. The boat scene. Oh man, that was tough. That scene was tough. He had to learn a lesson out of all of that, and there was good action to it. Him literally willing to be ripped apart to hold that ferry together. That was up there. That was up there. And then Endgame. I think this is going to sound bad. Again, most people are going to say the part where, you know, Tony dies and Mr. Stark. That was an important part, but the part where he actually made Captain Marvel tolerable, when he has the Infinity Gauntlet and he's like, hi, I'm Peter. And she goes, hi, Peter. You know, that was like the most like human being Captain Marvel has ever been. So I'm still going to give that point to Spider-Man. Is there any other moments? Yeah, I think that's probably my favorite moments from all of them. Am I sad to see this universe go? No. I'm hoping they fold this all in. That's my hope, RL, is that now, if we're going to do it, RL said, in-game with the Infinity War and her tolerable. Yeah, exactly. To put a bow on this, and RL, thank you for joining me, man. I'm going to jump out of the voice chat real quick. The lesson we need to learn here as filmmakers, right, is don't make a universe around a character that's never in the movies. And definitely don't undo the buildup that has been done. That's what killed The Last Dance. You undid everything in the other movies. Put Spider-Man in the movies, guys. We want to see Spider-Man. If there's a contract thing where you can't do it, you got to find a loophole, right? You were able to, in Madam Web, put some dude who was running around in a knockoff Miles Morales costume. There's no reason they couldn't have put... I would have taken Nicolas Cage. But you have Andrew Garfield. Andrew Garfield should have been the Spider-Man of this universe. They should have combined Andrew Garfield with the Venomverse, and we would have been good. Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man 4 should have been Venom versus Amazing Spider-Man. It's what should have happened. RL said, Infinity War, when Spider-Man stops the guy in the park when Iron Man is fighting. Yeah. And the bus scene when his hair stands up in the bus with Stanley. I saw that in a commercial the other day. I was reminded of no, we did get to see, the spider sense. And that was pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It's a little weird that the hair stands up on his arm. He looks at it and then he realizes, because if you've ever, been in a scary movie, it's the inverse of that. You're like, oh my gosh. And then you're like, oh yeah, the hairs are standing up on my arm. I don't have hair on my arms. But nevertheless, you get goosebumps after. But regardless, the way that scene is filmed is fantastic. Russo brothers for the win, man. Breaking news as well. Agent Carter has been confirmed for Doomsday. Now, will she be Captain Carter? I don't know. Will she just be Peggy? I don't know. But they have pseudo confirmed that she's going to be in it, similar to Chris Evans. Is there any surprise there after Chris Evans? I don't know. I'm not surprised by that at all. I feel like instead of doing Captain Carter, I would have loved a sequel to her series. I think she needed to stay in the MCU. She was fantastic. Then the stuff they've been doing with What If, I don't know. Where'd I get that info? I will drop a link. Peggy Carter in Doomsday. I always want to cite my sources here. Haley Atwell, Agent Carter may spy again in Doomsday. Yep, Nerdist is reporting it. Cinema Blend and Gizmodo. Oh, and IGN. IGN's who is normally my fact checker, if you will. I know a lot of people don't like it. Oh, come on. Deadline's reporting it. Haley Atwell as Agent Carter. Will Venom meet Spidey in Doomsday? So let's very quickly talk about the future. Very, very quickly. I'll let you guys go. They should. The way that Sony fixes this, and I'm going to give credit where credit is due. Shout out to Everything Always. I really agree with his theory here. They need to take these villains that they have created, and Sony's not going to give them up, right? But what Sony needs to do is they need to go to Marvel and say, and these are Everything Always words, I'm quoting him, send us a check. That's what they need to do. They need to hand those characters back to Kevin Feige. Let them make Spider-Man 5 be a Sinister Six movie in the MCU. That's what they need to do. It needs to be led by Vulture. They need to bring, after Kingpin runs for mayor and all of that stuff, and we do the Daredevil thing, Kingpin needs to be the main villain of Spider-Man. I guess it would be Spider-Man 5. And that movie should be a Sinister Six movie. That's what should happen. We got to use these villains at this point. And we need to use them as the MCU sees fit, not the way Sony sees fit. So give them back. You still, same characters, blah, 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 blah. But we don't need to see any more Kraven. We don't need to see any more Morbius. We don't even need to resolve why Morbius and Vulture are having a weird meeting. I don't want to see any of it. I just want them in Doomsday. He fights and goes against Venom. He stops Venom, gets the symbiote, and in Spider-Man 5, he's wearing the black suit against Kingpin and all of these Sony-verse villains. That's what I want to happen. And Kingpin is the boss. Then Venom comes to help him. That's what needs to happen. Plain and simple. Venom will team up with him. He'll get overwhelmed. And maybe he has some kind of communicator trying to get a hold of the other Spider-Man. He can't do it, and Venom shows up. That's what they need to do. Does he need to officially meet Daredevil? No. I think Spider-Man and Daredevil can team up now, but I don't want Matt Murdock knowing who Peter is. Even in the comic book, he doesn't know. Or not in the comic book, but in the TV show, in the cartoon. He never knows. And vice versa. Peter doesn't know who Daredevil is. I want them to team up, but they team up and they never know who, they never know. So I got my niece dog here. Shout out to Dices. How you doing, Dices? You been a good girl? She's telling me it's time for bed. Yeah, you're being a good girl. You want a treat? Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. That's going to do it for me tonight. linktr.ee/select screen. Very good stream tonight. I enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it as well. It's been fun, man. Shout out to my grandmother who is turning 90 tomorrow. So no extra videos or anything like that this weekend other than our clips from tonight. And shout out to Christy Logan Photography, Saint Boy Reggie, RL, Clue. All coming through, definitely approved. Until next time, guys, be kind to one another, all right? Merry Christmas to you. My name is Select Screen, and I'm out.